this next stop I would like to dedicate to Pam. Now the reason why is because anybody who's been following since the initial road trip saw a little video about Tombstone, where in our nightly recap, Pam confessed her true affections for one of Doc Holliday. Yep. So today I'm passing through Glenwood Springs. It's only right that I take a trail up to the Pioneer Cemetery where Doc Holliday is buried. So this one's for you, Pam. Here we go. I'm a little over halfway up the trail to the cemetery and I ran across this. I'm not sure what exactly started all of these little flags, but it looks like people have been adding onto it with bandanas, ribbons, even a baby shoe. So it kind of reminds me of some of the things that they have out in Joshua Tree, but it's pretty interesting to say the least. This is probably one of the only cemeteries I have ever seen that only has trailhead access, and it's kind of creepy. There are two people that we're going to see where they're buried today, Doc Holliday and Kid Curry, the two most famous people buried here. I was reading back there though, and it actually said that whenever Doc Holliday died, he was considered to be destitute. He was bedridden for an extended amount of time and he was disenfranchised from most people. So with that being said, there is a popular debate on if he was actually buried where this tombstone is, or if he was buried down that path in the Potter's Field. They do know he's buried here, but the question is, which one? So I'm gonna go find his official tombstone and get this for you, Pam. Anybody who tunes into my channel knows that one of my favorite things about traveling is learning new stuff every place that you go. And this place is like a learning mecca. So I just was reading on one of the little information stations that they have that the original tombstone that was placed for Doc Holliday contained erroneous information. So whenever they realized that it wasn't necessarily all legit and the truth, they actually replaced the stone with a monument and memorial, because not only was it a little bit off, but they knew people would be coming to see it, so they wanted to make sure that the facts were there and straight. So that was really interesting. Also, Doc Holliday came here in his later years after all of his Wild West career had caught up with him, and he actually passed away from tuberculosis. So, you know, not the most glamorous of deaths after your entire life you spent doing all the crazy things that you've done. But the cemetery is a resting place for him somewhere. That's the weirdest part of this entire thing, is that they don't exactly know where. Things weren't as well kept, I guess, back in the day. But yeah, so we came on here and we learned. Let's go see Kid Curry and then head down the mountain over to another stop. This is the Potter's Field area, and there were actually 123 people that were considered to be unidentified buried here. So they're marked, but they may not have names. People might not have had relatives in the area. And actually, Kid Curry was buried on this side. And the reason why he was buried on this side was because he ended up in Glenwood Springs, where he passed away, a famous robber, and now in the Potter's Field. Now it is kind of ironic and strange that he was a robber who robbed trains and banks and things like that, and people leave tributes of coins on his stone. This stone wasn't originally here. They actually placed it here so that it could identify where he was, because he didn't have a stone. But there's Kid Curry in a Potter's. It goes to show that no matter how infamous or how famous you are not impervious to one thing, and that is nothing lasts forever. So make your mark. This is my challenge to you. Coming to a cemetery right before Halloween, really weird. Make your mark though. Do your stuff, live your life, so that whenever you end up here, you've at least gone out the way that you want to. That's kind of what my blog is about. Doing things, never leaving anything undone that you really feel like you want to do. And sometimes coming to places like this really put a reminder with an exclamation point for you. So we learned today a little bit about the Wild Wild West and how it ended in a couple cases. We're about to head down the mountain. I'm gonna get in the car, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for taking your time today to come to a kind of creepy cemetery with a really cool historic past. Anyway, till next time.